Well, g'day everyone. It's a bit like play school today. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making up a map and then tomorrow taking it down to the Waterbank project down in East Perth and sticking this thing up on the fence just to demonstrate what it looks like when you put a detour map on the fence. Now, DevelopmentWA have very kindly put this map on their website and I've printed it out. I had to do it on 2 A4 sheets. And I haven't made it any larger because this was only a 100 KB file on their website. And if I make it any larger, it's going to be so blurry, it's not funny. The other issue I've got is I've somehow got to get this contraption into the panniers on my bike to get it down there. It's only a 15-minute ride, but I don't want this thing flapping around all over the place. What I have done is I managed to score a dirty great big coreflute. It's about 90 by 90. And this was put up for a detour about a year ago. Not quite sure what this was. It might have been the marathon or something like that. You can see it's very faded. They forgot to take this one down. Nice thing about it, it's got some eyelets in it. And I was actually hoping to use this entire thing and then just glue the map to it somehow. And just to show you could have a dirty great big sign with a map on it, and then you could have had some writing underneath saying detour in place until the 20th of December and some more details, whatever. But you could, with a sign this size, you could have a font about this big saying, detour in place, etc. But logistics means I'm probably going to have to cut this down to about half or even a third of the size so I can actually transport it, and I won't be able to make use of the eyelets. But the thing is, well, there's two things. Firstly, this detour is only going to be in place until the 20th of December, which is about another week. Not even another week. Well, that is unless they have an extension, they go into next year. But it's only a demonstration thing. I don't care if it's there for half a day and someone comes and takes it down. I just want to take some photos and video to show what it looks like on the fence and how much easier it would be to have a map on the fence at the site showing you where you're supposed to go. All right, let's do a bit of slicing and dicing. I'm just going to take one bit off here. Since I'm probably going to discard half of this thing, I'm not too concerned if I slice into the coreflute. Right, that's got rid of that. So we have a nice bit of overlap there. And you can see, it's not a ginormous map by any means, but it's not too bad. All right, now in terms of how much size do I need? Well, I'm going to cut down one side as well because I think I'm really going to struggle, with the panniers. So the narrower this is, the better. So let's just get rid of a bit of the stuff off the sides. And I don't think that I'm going to leave the eyelets in there because they're quite useful. All right, that lines up fairly nicely. Got some really bright duct tape here. This is all I had, but afterwards I thought this will actually make the whole thing stand out. So that's not a bad thing. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to demonstrate what it looks like to have a map. I was never very good at covering the kids' school books with clear contact, so please excuse any mess. And I've managed to stick this thing down to the table. Disaster just before we started, okay. I did think about gluing this down. If I had some of that kind of spray contact glue, that probably would have been ideal, but alas, there's nothing like that around the house. Or if it is, it's completely dried up and useless. All right. That'll do. And just whack a bit down the other sides. Does my map line up? Not particularly. If you do go down to have a look at it, please don't look too closely. And I'm not going to bother putting anything across the middle. Like I said, this is it's really just for demonstration purposes. Now, obviously, if DevelopmentWA were doing this properly, you just get these coreflutes printed up with this kind of thing on it, and instead of a dinky little map like this, the map would be double the size. You want something you can see from, I don't know, let's say 5 or 6 meters away. And I'm not picking on DevelopmentWA. You know, maps like this would be useful for any kind of cycling and pedestrian detour. Right, isn't that beautiful? Now, I don't know whether I'm in two minds about this. Do I chop it here so you could show that there could be some print at the bottom there? Or do I just chop it down to this size here? I think I'm just going to do this size, that'll do. Now, how easy is it to cut coreflute? Or I guess we're about to find out. Well, if you can actually keep the knife running along your stick, it's pretty easy. But if you're like me and you can't, it's fairly difficult. All right, if I ever need to demonstrate another sign for another government agency, I've got another chunk over there. It's not looking too bad. See, the beauty of doing this, at least I've got 2 eyelets for doing the cable ties. Now I'll just have to do a test drive and see if this will fit in the panniers or not. All right, maybe until tomorrow.